Can our loved ones on the other side help us? Well, today we're going to explore that topic, and my goal is to prove to you that yes, they can. And we're going to talk about that, maybe share some stories. We got members of our community here in the live chat, and I'm hoping to pull some of their comments on the screen. So stick with us till the end because I am going to help you let go of the stress and negativity that you may have taken on from the week. Because, hey, it's Friday and time to reset, okay? Like offload whatever you're carrying, whatever worries, whatever fears, anxieties, because, you know, you're kind of dealing with some things right now, right? With what's going on in the world. Or maybe you're one of those people that it all rolls off your back. Whatever the case, we got something for everybody. So stick around. This is Pam Johnson and her husband, Alan, who's in the spirit world. Yeah, that's right. I teach with my dead husband. He had always said to me from the beginning when he crossed over, "Isn't it better that I'm dead, Pam? Like I can do more for you from the other side." And he has. He has. And I work with people all the time who share the same stories about what their loved ones on the other side have helped them with. So if that's of interest to you, you might want to stick around and and expand your mind, understand that this world is not as stable or as set in place as you have been thought to believe. I feel that in the next few years, we're all going to have a major awakening to what's really true about reality. So why not start today with us and every Friday from here on out, right? So yeah, let's get into it. I do want to guide you through a meditation to release things. I want to wait a little bit, but I also want to help you connect to loved ones, family members, friends, whoever on the other side. Because folks, they're not dead. They're not gone either. And people are beginning to understand that. I know that because I hear from them all the time. They reach out to me. They join our Ascension Inner Circle group that's on School. If you're interested in joining us, please do. We're open to for everybody. Come join us. See Ascension Inner Circle on School. Just go to School platform, school.com. Look for us there, or you can also just input ascensioninnercircle.com. Ascensioninnercircle.com. We'd love to have you join us, and you can learn more about not only how to connect with loved ones across the veil, but how you can raise your frequency so you don't have to be taken down by the chaos that's unfolding in the world, because this is something that's going to continue. And our loved ones on the other side, they do want to help us, as we're going to talk about that today. The reason I know that's true is because I've studied the progress of spiritualism in this country and the world, and what is absolutely been proven at this point by people in the spiritualist movement is that the spirit world has been coming through quite strongly from about the turn of the century, the early 1900s, before World War II. And that was when all the phenomena started happening, raps and taps on the walls and people having seances. All that wasn't started by people just saying, "Oh, I want to talk to the spirit world." It wasn't that way at all. People think that's the case, and it's not. It wasn't like somebody in a body said, "I'm going to talk to the dead." Most people back then didn't believe in this, but when phenomena started happening and there were these unexplainable, experiences that people are having, well, that was the spirit world. They are not gone. And they have been helping all of us from the other side. It's just that most people, because of their belief system, they just shut that down. And in the past, that would have kept it shut down. Okay, but something changed. Something changed around about 1985. If some of you are as old as me, you may remember Shirley MacLaine writing her book Out on a Limb, in which she talked about her own spiritual journey of awakening. I remember watching her on the Johnny Carson show. I'm really dating myself here. And she was talking about her book. And I didn't even know what the heck she was talking about. I didn't know about any of this stuff, okay? Nothing. And I heard her talking about her book, and something in me just lit up. And I was like, whoa, wait, what is she talking about? And the reason I felt that response, and you may have felt something like that too in your life, I realize now that was my soul just telling me, this is your truth. This is something for you to look into. So I did buy your book, and I did slowly go down that road. It took a while, but my spirit, my inner being, my soul recognized that. Even if my conscious mind, my logical physical mind may have been like, huh? And that's how most of you will be. You have a physical mind that's going to question, that's going to doubt, that's going to go, that's crazy. Luckily, I didn't have that strong of a physical skeptical mind, and I didn't know that at the time, but I've been a person that kind of went with her gut without knowing I was doing that. So for me, it wasn't that challenging because I trusted my intuition, even though I wouldn't have called it intuition. But that was how things started opening up for me. So I'm telling you this only because you are a human in a body. You are a soul. Even if you don't believe you're a soul, I'm sorry, but you are. And so you're going to periodically, from time to time, have these feelings that will come to you, and you can't understand where they're coming. Where's it coming from? Why am I feeling curious about this? Why am I feeling drawn to that? What is that? Right? So what I suggest to you, first of all, is you start paying attention to that rather than dismissing it and thinking that's something strange. This is what most people do. But the thing that's changing, so remember, back then in mid 1980s, this was just starting. And people like me were waking up because it was my time. I was in my 30s at the time. So it was my time to do that. But now more people are just opening up because we are now full on in the time of awakening. Back then, it was just the beginning time. And that was when I learned how to channel in 1987, and my whole world changed. I learned to channel my higher self, my guides, and I started to hear spirit. I started to trust even more my intuitive knowing. And it wasn't like my life became perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I knew when something was right for me, and I knew when I heard the truth or read it, and I knew when I didn't, because I just knew, because I was more lined up with who I truly am. And this is what awakening is about, becoming who you truly are, authentically are, not who you were told you were by other people. Because most people are defining themselves from other people's perspectives, like their parents, like society, like their friends, you know. But part of spiritual awakening is sifting through that to look at it and go, is this really what I believe? Or do I believe something else? Maybe I don't know what I believe. Maybe I should find out. Maybe I need to sit and meditate, or maybe I just need to, just take some time and be with my own thoughts, be with my own energy, instead of being busy all the time, like most people are, and running around and trying to make things happen. Maybe I should trust this inner knowing and just let my life unfold. Because what I learned at that time was, and I didn't fully know it at the time until later, but in retrospect, what I see was a lot of things were being managed by my higher self. There were so many synchronicities, coincidences that aren't coincidences, that happened, that people thought I was a witch. They said, how do you get that to happen? I said, I don't know. I just went with the flow. I just did what I felt good to me, and it worked out, and I noticed if I didn't follow that instinct, it didn't work out. So I was quick to figure that out. All right, I'm going to go with what feels right to me. And I'm not going to necessarily listen to what other people are trying to tell me, because what the heck do they know? They're not in my body. They don't really know me. They may think they know me, but they don't. And I want to say that to you. Only you and you alone know what's true for you. And I don't care who the so-called expert is, whether they're a medium, a psychic, a religious person that you respect. Maybe it's your priest or your rabbi or your best friend or your mother. I don't care who the person is. You are an expression, an extension of source, of God, of all that is. You can access your own truth because your own truth comes from your soul. So when you start placing all of your trust in other people and not yourself, that's when you become disempowered. And that's when people get led astray and let other people control them. So the other side, our loved ones, guides, angels, I classify them all in there. They all want to help us. This is the interesting thing too. Back in the like I said, 1985, in 1990, things like angel workshops were taking off, right? If you remember that, I took my share of them. And people were turning their power over to angels, saying things like, oh, I asked my angels to help me. Oh, my angels did this for me. My angels did that for me. And I'm not saying that the angels don't help people. They do. They do, folks. They help me for sure. But even then, we were still giving our power over to somebody else, saying, oh, the angels are going to help me. The angels are going to tell me what to do. Instead of, again, my priest or my mom or somebody else that you may have put your trust in. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with trusting them, but people are interesting. We've been programmed to not want to own our power and to look for authority figures, whether that's government, although that's kind of fallen apart, right? Like we don't do that so much anymore, thank goodness. But we used to. People used to trust their government officials, believe that they would always tell them the truth. I know you might go, what? When was that? When were people doing that? Not that long ago. I remember my parents just believing that their elected officials were honest people. Some of them are, many of them are not, and we know that now. Okay, so humans want to put their power in somebody else's hands because we've been programmed to do that by the people who wanted us to give them our power. So this is why it's important, folks, that you reclaim your power and go, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to trust me. I'm going to believe in me. To hell with anybody else. I don't care who they are. I got to trust in what I believe to be true. And you will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. It's par for the course. That's not why you do it. Because guess what? You're going to make bigger mistakes when you trust other people. Not only that, because you went with what they told you to do, you basically weakened your own confidence in yourself because you gave your power to them. You see what I mean? How do you develop your inner power, your confidence, if you're always turning to other people? You don't. That's why, including why we tell people, be careful with getting mediumship readings. It's fine if you're just starting out and you're still just not sure and you want some answers. We get it. It's okay. But if your goal is to have ongoing contact, okay, and not everybody's up for that. But if you're interested in developing your own connection, as soon as possible, you need to drop the readings because all you're doing when you get a reading is affirming your belief that the medium knows more than you, or at least in terms of that they can connect with your loved one more easily than you. So you're affirming that. You see what I mean? You're like, you're saying that by the action. Whereas if you were instead to take the approach, okay, I know mediums could talk to my loved one, but I don't even think I want to go there. I'm going to try this on my own and see where it takes me. Then if you do that, you're going to find that it's actually easier because you're putting your confidence in you, and you start trusting what you're sensing, and they prefer that too, by the way, the other side. Of course they prefer that. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you prefer to talk directly to the person you love than to go through a third party? But again, back in the early, oh, actually not even 1990s, I think it was more like 2000s was when the angel workshops took off. People were always saying, I'm going to, trust in the teacher, or trust in a medium, or trust in this person who talks to angels, and they were going to trust in themselves. But we're done with that, folks. This is the time that people go direct. And even if they're not interested in spirit communication, people are going to become more spiritual in the sense of not so much associated with a religion. Being spiritual is about working directly with the spirit world, or talking directly to God, not going through a third party, not having any intermediaries. We've eased our way into that, starting with people feeling comfortable talking to angels, and instead of maybe going to church, they go, okay, I feel like I have this connection with my guardian angel. Great. But Spirit has said to me that too was a training wheel, because the goal all along was for us to connect directly to our own soul, our own spirit, our own higher self. And that's why we teach how to channel your higher self, because your higher self is actually your best guide and far superior to even the angels in terms of your guidance, because the angels don't all have your soul plan. They don't. Okay, your guardian angel does, and we teach that too, but your higher self knows that. Your higher self knows that. You know that, in other words. Okay, so what you're going to see in the years to come is happening already, is people reclaiming their spiritual power and realizing, yeah, it's not about going to church to just put all my faith in what is being preached. I'm not saying anything is wrong necessarily with what is being preached, but in trusting yourself instead of going somewhere to some service and saying, I'm just going to believe whatever I'm told to believe. People are questioning now, and this is a good thing. But can you see in the world why everything is kind of falling apart? Because people don't know what to believe, and we're putting everything on the table to look at it, and it's messy because people are going, do I believe in separation? Do I believe in judgment? Do I believe in love? Do I believe in less? Do I believe in more? Like, what do I believe? Okay, this is why it's so crazy right now, because there's so much contrast going on. So it's par for the course, and the way to get through this is for you to understand you just need to decide, what reality do you want to create? Who do you want to listen to? Do you want to listen to some other authority figure, whoever that person is? Or do you want to listen to the call of your own soul? That is what spirituality really is about, is understanding that you're a spirit being, that you're not just a physical being. You're a physical being having a physical experience and connecting more to that part of you. And this is where our loved ones can really help us with this. Okay. But it is important for you to understand that you don't need to become a medium for that to happen. Okay. You don't need a mediumship course, because they're basically psychic development courses, and that is not what you need. You actually need spiritual development. Spiritual development is more connected to personal development. Personal development is not about psychic development. Personal development / spiritual development is about letting go of fears, trauma, limiting beliefs to become your true, authentic self. Mediumship, I'm sorry, it doesn't teach that to my knowledge. We know because we used to teach mediumship and we've taught channeling, Alan and I. I would say the latter part of his life, we more taught channeling, but channeling was always my passion. Alan's was more mediumship. So we kind of can cover both sides of that, the mediumship part and the channeling part, and work both sides. But I'm more the channeler, although, of course, they're very related. So I'm just wanting to explain to you what's going on right now and why the other side is going to get louder. They got louder at the beginning of the 1900s because they came through saying that they knew humanity was going to go through many crises. And of course, there was World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War. And even though there seems to be a lull right now in the Iran, Israel, U.S. conflict, I believe we are going to have a war with Iran, and I want to go into that, but it's because that too has to come out on the table because there is a power shift going on. And if you want to get through this, and you can, the other side, your loved ones want to help you. They can help guide you. They can help keep you centered. They can help give you faith. Most of all, they want to give you their love so that will elevate you. So then you'll be able to hear your higher self when it's trying to talk to you, when it's trying to nudge you, when it's trying to reassure you. And you won't then fall into the trap that most people do of just listening to their physical mind, which is tied to the negative ego, and it starts to freak out. Because it only knows survival. It's really fear-based. Okay, so if you want to get through the chaotic times we're in, that are actually a powerful time of transformation for the planet, the only way, in my view, that you and I are going to get there is if we open up spiritually. And in time, people will understand this. I know this because Spirit showed me this years ago. They said people will either be galvanized to really open up, become the spirit being that they are, their authentic self, or they're going to crash and burn. And they're going to more identify with the negative ego. And that's all fear-based case. So they said those people will break down. Those people will go psychotic. Those people will go a little crazy. And that is their journey. But that doesn't have to be your journey. It's up to you. But the other side, they do want to help us. Your guys, your loved one, they do want to help. And the question is, are you open to that? Are you open to that? So let me see. I'm just seeing here who's in the chat. Okay. Does anybody want to comment like your experience? Okay. I don't want this to all be about me. So I want you to get comfortable right now because I do want to help you let's clear off the energy of the week. Let's just discharge that right now. Okay. And let me know in the live chat and even in the comments below later if you're watching this. Okay. All right. What did you go through this week? What has been your biggest challenge this week? Or maybe what has been your great win? What did you experience that you said, wow, I did that really well. I'm really happy about that. Okay. Let me know. Just comment there. Like what's going on with you? Because this is not a time of all doom and gloom. I don't want people to think that. This can be the most amazing time for you. Okay. So we're going to help you get there. So get relaxed, get comfortable wherever you are. If you're driving, turn this off. You don't want to be listening to this while you're driving. Come back and listen to it later. Right. Okay. And I'd like you to close your eyes. And let's just take some deep cleansing breaths together, right? Breathe in through your nose, taking a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then exhale through your mouth. Take another deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and breathe out. Take another deep breath in, hold it, and breathe out. And just breathe normally. And with your eyes closed, I'd like you to notice if there's anywhere in your body that you're carrying tension. And if you're not sure where that might be, just pretend you know. Just imagine you know. What comes to your mind? Because here's the thing, sometimes people don't see it like in as a vision, and they don't always feel it, but you might just know. Like it just comes to you. Oh, my knee. And you go, what, my knee? You could even go, I didn't know there was tension in my knee. So trust whatever way it comes in, like that information. It'll come in as you see something in your mind's eye. It could be a symbol, could be a word. You could hear the answer. You could feel it. You could feel the tension in that part of your body, or just know that it's that part of the body. It doesn't matter. So I just want you to tune in. And again, if you're not sure, don't worry about it. Just focus on an area where there's tension. And now I want you to breathe. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, I want you to imagine that you're breathing light into that area. And if you don't have any stress or tension anywhere, that's okay. Just focus on any part of your body that you choose to. For most people, that would probably could help if it was their stomach. But it's up to you. All right. All right, let's do this again. Take another deep breath in. This time I want you to imagine that you're breathing in this light, and this light is just pouring into your lungs. And as you exhale, send that light to the part of your body where you're carrying tension or stress, or just send it to your stomach. And just feel, see, or imagine, or just know that that light is permeating that area. And go into that, like focus on that area. Be in that area. Can you see it? Can you feel it? Explore that tension. Explore that area. Even if it's not giving you a problem, just be in that area of your body. It is not difficult to use your intuition to perceive your body or anything or any place, right? You're a consciousness, and the only things that will ever limit your abilities are just your beliefs. That's it. You don't have to have special gifts. You don't have to take tons of courses. You really just need to believe that you can do what you choose to do. Because all a class does is give you a permission slip. Like, oh, now I took a class, I guess I should be able to do this. And then people find they can do it, but a lot of times they could do it before. If you feel guided to try something, like take a class, then that is perfect for you. But you still don't need it because you are the ultimate permission slip. All right, now take another breath in. See if you can find another area of your body that you're holding stress or tension, or that you're just concerned with. Maybe you have pain there. Maybe you have a condition that you're trying to address. So go into that space. Just breathe the light into that space. And this time, I want you to watch the light and see does it do anything? Does it move? Does it change? Does it stay localized in that area, or does it spread out? Does it change form? Okay. Energy is not static. It's not always the same. Everything in existence is always changing, evolving, moving. So just notice what happens when you direct your consciousness, which, by the way, is God's consciousness, because you are an aspect of creation. So when you focus on something, you are literally sending God's light, which is your light, which is within everyone, to that area. Never underestimate the power you have to change anything, especially within yourself. You're the only one that can really change your physical condition. A healer is simply helping you to help yourself do that. But they can't force you to heal that. They're just supporting you to heal yourself, to believe in your own power to heal. Sometimes to just give you permission to do that. Right? Now take another deep breath in. And this time, as you breathe out, imagine the light is going through your entire body. Like it's the particles of light moving through your entire body. Just see it moving in whatever way it's moving. I'm not going to direct you in it. Just notice how it's moving. Is it moving up your neck? Is it moving down to your stomach? Is it moving in all directions at once? There are no rules to this. No rules. You're tapping into the power of your source imagination, which knows what needs to be done, and you're trusting it. You're letting your higher self guide the process. Physical mind usually won't get involved here because, if anything, it stands back and goes, "What the heck are you doing? I don't understand this." Because physical mind is rooted in logic. And this is what we're doing is illogical, which is good because we don't need the physical mind to get involved. It's not its job. Physical mind cannot really heal you. Higher self, your higher mind can. So you don't want to listen to just what your physical mind is suggesting. It's not intuitive. It doesn't know your soul's plan. It's not connected to the higher realms. All it can do is observe your interaction with the higher realms, like your guides, your angels, your loved ones, higher self. That's all it can do. It can just say, "Oh, this is what's happening." But it can't hook you up. It just can't. Its only job is to help you function on the physical level. And it only knows what's going on, therefore, on the physical level. Not on the higher level, not in the spirit world. That is the domain of your higher self and your higher mind. Okay. So just notice where has the light dispersed in your body? Now I want you to imagine that you're scanning your body to see if you have any tension anywhere else. And just trust whatever comes to you, whatever you, again, see in your mind's eye, whatever you feel in your body physically, whatever you might hear a word, or you might just know. And if you find another area of tension or stress or pain or anything that is uncomfortable, take another breath in and send light to it, and then let it go. Just let it go. All right. Now that you've done that, I want to guide you to calling all your energy back, because this is something some of you need to do on a regular basis. What I mean by that, about calling your energy back, is that you don't understand that sometimes, especially if you don't have good boundaries with people, like you're a person that gives and gives and gives, and you're very involved with other people's lives and you're worried about them, well, all that, you end up attaching yourself to their energy, let's say, especially if you worry about somebody. Or if it's somebody that you're always helping and you're concerned about, you are corded to them. Now, back in the 2000s, when I took these workshops, that courting people emotionally was given this really bad rap. Like it was something almost like evil, like, oh, this person courted you. And I'd go, what are you talking about? When you love people, you are bonding to them. So you could say, yeah, there's a cord of love between mother and child, or husband and wife, etc., right? Or even friend to friend. And I never saw that as anything but positive. But I did understand what they meant. They meant that sometimes people are connecting to others and they're still like they're always connecting to them because they're worried about them or afraid of them or sad about them or whatever. That emotional connection, that's not just love, because yes, there's love there too, but there's anxiety in there, there's fear in there, right? Those negative emotions, yeah, those are toxic. So when you worry about people, you are courting to them, and you could be losing energy to them. Not that they're trying to hurt you and stealing your energy, although, by the way, there are people who do that. I had that experience myself, but most people don't do that. And even if somebody is trying to steal your energy, they only do that with your permission, because you don't understand the dynamics that only people who are, who you let do that to you, will you suffer the consequence. Okay. You don't need to do that. You don't need to be drained by people. And it certainly isn't good to worry about things that are not in your control, whether it's your life or somebody else's life. Because when you worry about others, I know you're coming from a good place. You're going, well, but I love them, and they're not well, or they're struggling, or they're lost, or and I want them to be okay. And we understand. But your worrying about them is on some level being felt by them, because it's a thought form. There's an energy you're literally sending them through the bonds of love that you share that you're not aware of, because you're connected, because we're all connected. So they can be influenced. Will they always be influenced? Sometimes not. Some people are very strong in their sense of self, and so they repel like other people's opinions. I mean, that's kind of how Ellen and I have always been. I didn't know that until until I did know it. But most people, because they care so much about what other people think of them, yeah, you can get off center. And so it's important that you not care. You care about people, but you don't care what they think of you. Those are two different things. I don't care if they don't like me. Sure, it would be better if they did, only because then we get along better. But if they don't, that's not my business. And it doesn't hurt me unless I believe it hurts me. Then I'm creating it hurting me. So I'm just neutral. Okay, so the bonds of love that you have with people, if you're over invested in their experience, then you're distorted because you're bringing their energy more into your field. You understand what I mean? You're bringing their energy into your field. You're not meant to run anybody's energy but your energy, not even your children. And a lot of parents, without realizing it, are running their children's energy. It's really easy for that to happen, and it's not always good. Usually it's not good for parent or child. It doesn't matter the age of the child. Um, it doesn't matter whether they're a month old or 50 years old. If you're overly concerned and you are always like trying to figure out what's going on with them, that's distorted. Okay, so you're taking on their energy, and without realizing it, it may be depleting you, especially if they're going through some challenge and you're wanting to help them. A lot of cases, parents just want to fix their kids, right? They're not understanding that, well, wait, I think my son has to go through this challenge to learn something from, and I need to support his learning and not try to rescue it. So we have to back off on rescuing people, trying to always help them. People have to, would do better to not go into default mode of always helping. And most people are helping people. They're always like programmed to help. That's not always useful. Not if the person may need to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. So it's best for you to check in and go, does this feel right to me to do this? Because if it does, then it is beneficial for you to step in. Then it'll be good for you and for the person. But if you get a no, you get a not sure kind of feeling, then to me, that's a no too. You either feel good about doing the helpful action, like it really feels positive, or you don't feel good, or you feel neutral. If it's neutral or negative, that's a no. Okay. So I'm just telling you this so that you can, look at your life now and in the future and go, wait, is this really good for me? Am I giving too much? Maybe I need to set my boundaries stronger and say no. If you're a person who always says yes, then yeah, you got a boundary problem. If you always say yes without hesitation, you got a problem. So now let's call back your energy, okay? Because this is probably the number one reason that people are exhausted, because they're leaving their energy all over the place. They've given it to other people. They're stressing about things that have none of their business. They're worried about people that they can't control. And it isn't your business. That's their life. They have to go through what they're going through, and let them. The best you can do is to hold this loving, positive vision of them thriving, overcoming their challenge, learning from it, okay? Not worrying about them, because if you worry about it, you're actually putting more burden on them, because we're all connected, and your negativity and fear about somebody is adding to their problem. You're not being part of the solution when you do that. You mean well, but you don't understand the dynamics here, the spiritual physics of how we're all connected. And what you feel about somebody on some level, they will feel it. And if they're not centered in the truth of who they are, they can be negatively impacted. And most people are not centered that way. They're just not. And so that's why you wonder, why are young people so struggling right now? Because they're a different species, literally, and they're more evolved and they're more sensitive. So, and I say most young people, I'm talking about young people, generally 40 and younger, maybe 35 and younger. Okay. They're really sensitive, and many of them are struggling because they're here to help with the awakening, and it's not easy. And so if you're worried about anybody, whether it's your kids, whether it's your partner, whether it's your mother, family, friend, I don't care who it is, let go. Stop worrying. Let it go. You're adding to your burden, and you're not helping them. You're making it worse. You're literally making it worse. Okay. So now close your eyes, and I want you to imagine yourself standing in the center of some beautiful spot. You're going to choose it. Maybe it's a park. Maybe it's in your home. Maybe it's a sacred site on the planet that you've always wanted to visit. Maybe it's your favorite place in the world that you have been to before, or you would like to be there. I want you to be in that place now. It doesn't matter where it is. All that matters is that you choose a place, a spot, and you go there in your mind with your intention. And you feel yourself there to the best of your ability. Again, you don't have to see it. Maybe you can feel yourself there. Maybe you can just know that you're there. Maybe you can smell what the air is like there. Maybe you can feel what everything feels like there. What are you sitting on? If you're sitting on a piece of furniture, are you sitting on the grass? Are you walking? Like, where are you? Okay, so be in that space. Be in this special space, right? Feel how amazing it is to be there. Make it as real, as vivid as you can. Really put all of your focus on it. Let your imagination run wild. Let yourself just see whatever you can see or feel or hear or smell or taste. Really get into it. Right? This is not fantasy. This is you creating your own world, your own reality. Every thought that we have manifests. It may not show up in this reality instantly. If we thought on it long enough, it can, but it doesn't mean it's not created, but it's created in the spirit world first. It's always created non-physically first as energy. And then when it's thought often enough, it starts to materialize or densify, and it can become real. So never, ever think that what you imagine is fantasy in terms of it's doesn't exist. Okay. If you can imagine it in your mind or feel like you're there, it is real. Because if it wasn't real, how would you be able to experience it? Because it wouldn't be real. And this is what you've been lied to about the power of your imagination to create your world. So be in that space, be in that space, be in this place. Take it in, make it vivid, make it real. Know that this is real. Get excited, feel happy, or feel peaceful. Feel whatever you want to feel. But just let it build, let it build, let it grow. Okay. Really love being here. Okay. Feel the energy that surrounds you in this place. Right? This is your space, your power spot. And you can have many power spots, but this is one for today. So you're standing or sitting or laying or whatever in your power spot, right? Be there, feel that. And now in this place of power, I want you to set your intention to call back your energy from wherever you left it, everywhere from where you left it, from everyone, everything. Bring it back, call it back, feel all of it coming back in whatever way it returns. Maybe it returns as particles of light. Maybe you feel, what I'm seeing is maybe you feel like these little bubbles coming back. Maybe you feel flooded with birds, like butterflies coming back, whatever it is. Just call your energy back and watch it come in. And take it in. Take it in. Bring the energy into your aura. That's your energy field around your body. Bring that energy from your aura into your physical body. Let the energy just pour through you. Come in through literally the pores of your body. Okay. Let the energy move through you. Just feel it coming in, coming in. Feel your body, your mind, your spirit growing stronger, growing more vibrant, feeling more alive. Notice how this feels. How does this feel in your body? Do you feel the energy? Do you see the energy? Do you feel heat? Do you feel warmth? Do you feel coolness? What emotions do you feel? Take a breath in. One more time, call back all the energy, any last residual energy, just bring it in, let it come in, let it anchor into your center, into your power spot. And I want you to look around this space you've created. Does it look or feel different to you? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. There's no right or wrong answer. Do you feel different? Take note of that if you do. And it's okay if you don't feel different. Okay. There's no right or wrong. Ever. But most of all, I invite you to feel the peace that is within you now. It's like all of the pieces of you have come home. While the final puzzle piece has come back to complete you. Sometimes we do leave our energy places, and it's okay. But if you ever feel unbalanced, you ever feel a bit off kilter, take a moment and call back your energy. Don't have to do any, complicated ritual or meditation. You can, but really it's just your intention. It's just your intention and you claiming it, saying, I'm calling back my energy. And some of you would do well to do this every night. If that's you, you go, oh yeah, I do. I think I do leave my energy elsewhere every day. All right, then do this every night. The other tip I have for you to cleanse your field, super easy. Ellen and I are always about keeping it easy, simple, not overcomplicating things. You're never going to find us do any major ritual, even though he used to practice the Kabbalah and had a ritual for banishing spirits, which he was really good at. We don't do that. We don't do that anymore because he says it's not necessary. But what you can do is when you take, especially if you take a shower, and this would be at night, you can imagine as the water is hitting you under the shower that it is rinsing away any energy that don't belong to you, and it's going down the drain. Very simple. Even if you're not a person who takes a shower at night, you might want to do this if you feel out of sorts, right? And those days, those evenings, okay? Because that's as simple as that. And you see the energy going down the drain and you're done. Water is a powerful tool for healing, so use it. If you live near the ocean, going in the sea is a very powerful way to detox and release too. Why do you think people feel better when they go to the ocean or take a holiday by the sea? The sea is very powerful. We are kind of, in a sense, come from the sea. So you could do that. That's very grounding, very healing. You can also draw a hot bath, put something like sea salts in it, or just Epsom salt's fine, but I like Himalayan salt. That will remove the negativity too. Okay. All right. So we've cleared you out. And now let's talk about how your loved one can help you, because we're going to open up to them in a bit, but we're going to talk about first, okay, why they want to help you and how you can allow them to help you. First of all, is paying attention to what's going on in your life, okay? Because here's the thing that's really interesting that spirits told me, that I see with clients and students too, is that they are engaging with us, but most people are oblivious. They just think that the strange thing that happened was some fluke thing, and it can oftentimes be a loved one on the other side and or higher self. Okay, higher self can, you can make something happen too, is trying to get our attention, and we're just like not paying attention. We're not aware. So first is being aware that there are no accidents. Zero, nada, none, no accidents. Everything, everything. And I want you to see the word everything in capital letters is an orchestration. Everything is happening for a higher reason. Even something that is challenging is happening for a higher reason, for your growth or to support somebody else. Because sometimes what we go through is to actually help somebody else. So we made agreement on a soul level to support other people. Something as simple as being stuck in a traffic jam. And you're going, well, why would my higher self set it up that I'm stuck in a traffic jam? What is the good of that? You may have agreed to be stuck in the traffic jam because somebody else needed to be stuck in that traffic jam to avoid a car accident. And so you had to participate in that. That's just one example of billions, like why something's happening. It's not always directly to benefit you or me, but for other people. Because we agreed to be here not just for ourselves. Part of the challenge humankind has faced is that something called the cult of self. And I don't want to go all into it because there's a lot to it, but there's basically, we've been programmed to believe that, we're just supposed to pursue our own interests. And yes, you are, but not to the exclusion of other people, not to the detriment of others. But in our society, it's become all about the self. Okay, so if you want to receive help from the other side, you kind of got to rewrite that belief and open up more and understand that there are other forces involved. Not that you're being manipulated, not really, but you're being supported by your higher self, which orchestrates things on your behalf. So the things that happen that you may rail against, like the traffic jam, that's just a simple example, or anything else, is happening for a reason. But because people are so self-centered and they're not getting what they want, and they lose patience and they get frustrated, they don't understand, again, the bigger picture. I'm here for my own growth, but I also agreed to help others. We're all here to serve each other, not just for ourselves. So what's happening on the planet is a shift from that. So that people understand that. And by the way, I am not talking about socialism. Let's be clear here. Socialism, communism is as distorted as the right, as authoritarians. Okay, being authoritarian, yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, that kind of crap. All of it. That's all distortion. So we're not talking about people giving up their rights and giving up their property. No, we're talking about people living together, supporting each other, understanding that we're here to serve one another. If we serve one another, everybody gets served. But no, what's going on in the world is people are just serving themselves. That's it. Okay, so the other side wants to remind us that that's not what we came here to do. So if you want to tap into their guidance and get more direct help, then it becomes important for you to understand that, to come from a loving place, a compassionate place, a place of forgiveness of yourself and others, because you and they will make mistakes. And so if you do that, then it becomes easier to perceive them. They're saying that that's really what the main challenge is for people, is that they're so caught up in themselves and their ego and their physical mind that they can't hear spirit. They can't feel the other side, because the physical mind is so loud and so controlling, and the higher mind, higher self, is so soft and quiet, because it is. That's how it normally is. It talks through your emotions of love, passion, excitement, curiosity, fascination. That is how it talks to us, so that you don't misinterpret it. Because when you feel excitement or you feel fascination, you know what you feel. You don't usually second guess yourself and say, did I make that up? Did I imagine that I'm fascinated? No, you don't. You might go, why am I fascinated? Why am I curious, or why am I happy about this? I don't understand logically why, but I know what I feel. Okay, so your higher mind, your higher self, same thing, communicates through your emotions primarily. Can you dialogue with it? Absolutely. That's why we teach channeling the higher self. But everybody, everybody, no exception, is being communicated with from their higher self through their emotions of excitement, curiosity, fascination, joy, love, positive emotion. If you don't spend much time doing things that bring positive emotion, you don't follow your excitement, which is your guidance, you are just living from your physical mind, going, I got to do this, I got to do this, and you're shutting yourself off from your higher mind, then how are you going to hear your higher self? How are you going to hear your loved ones on the other side? It's really hard. Okay. And they want to help you. They can help. They can guide you. They're trying to, like, in their own way, orchestrate things for you, as well as your higher self. But you have to let that in. And that's what's going on, is people are not letting in the support and the guidance, because they're trying to micromanage everything with their ego and their logical mind. Okay. So now that you kind of cleared your energy, you kind of balanced out, you kind of brought in your energy back, right? Cleared off what doesn't belong to you. Now I want you to get centered again. And we're going to, Alan's showing me, okay, well, some of you are new to our work. Just if this is something as part of your soul plan, then you will experience something on some level. Okay. If it's not part of your soul plan to explore connecting across the veil in the way that we teach, then you may not. Okay, because it's just not on part of your theme. But if it is part of your theme, he says, hold on to your hat, because he's doing what he can to bring to you a loved one on the other side who wants to help you, because they're all lined up to help you. Okay. But again, if you don't experience anything, this is just not either for you, or it's not time. One or the other. Either not time, maybe later, not now, or it's not part of your theme. Because everybody has a different theme they're here to explore in their life. We're not all here for the same things. Impossible. Everyone's journey is different. Don't go comparing yourself to anybody else. So I want you to close your eyes if you want this. If you don't want this, just reject it. All you have to do is say, don't want it. No, thank you. No, don't want it. It doesn't come to you. Okay. You're the creator of your universe. Okay. You're the God in your reality. Nobody else. The only way other people can affect you is if you say yes to them and you give them your power. That's the only way. If you don't want it to happen, it can't happen. Can't. All right. So close your eyes and go back to your power spot. Be in your power spot. Get to Know that place really well. Okay. Just be there. Feel the peace and the joy and the love that's there. And in your power spot, I want you to turn around like you're looking at it 360 degrees. Turn around until you come back to where you began. Turn around slowly. Take it all in. Look above you. Look below you or to the ground. See, feel, imagine, or just know that you're there. Doesn't matter how you're experiencing it. You don't have to see it. You don't. If you do, great. If you don't, doesn't matter. All you need to do is set the intention to be there and then trust whatever shows up. That's it. Now, in your power spot, in this place, I want you, if you are in agreement, to open your heart and your mind up to connecting with someone in the spirit world. It may not be your partner. Maybe it's going to be a family member. Maybe it's going to be a friend. Let it be a surprise. But open up to someone in the spirit world who wants to support you in this moment. And I want you to imagine or feel or see or just know that they begin to approach you. They come in to your space. Maybe you see them walking towards you in the distance. Maybe you feel them to the left of you or to the right of you or behind you. Maybe you just know they're there. Just be with them. Have them there. You might not even know this loved one. You may not even have met them when they were here in a body. I met my grandfather, who I'd never met. He died many years before I was born. And he came to me looking young and handsome, as I remember him from a family photo. And we talked. And he told me how proud he was of me and how he was always watching over me. So connect to this loved one or just experience whatever you're experiencing. Don't have any expectation of how this is going to be. Let it be whatever it is. You can always come back to this exercise and try it again. But be with this loved one. See if they have a message for you. Or maybe they just want to share their love with you. They just want to be with you. Many times, spirits just want that. They just want to exchange love. And on the other side, interestingly enough, they don't always talk a lot. You communicate telepathically. In other words, you just know what they want or what's going on. You don't have to explain. So for some of them, not all of them, for some of them, it takes a little while to adjust to talking the way you and I talk, because they're used to just directing their knowing to each other, if you understand what I mean. Right. Most of all, I invite you to just feel the love there they have for you and give them your love. Helen says they want our love as much as we want their love. Yes, they exist in a place of pure unconditional love, but he says you can never have too much love. So project your love Project your joy, your appreciation, your gratitude. And receive their love. Take it in. Breathe it in. Let it pour over you and into you. Bask in this love, this unconditional love that is the essence of who you truly are. Love from the spirit world has the power to heal us, to transform us, to uplift us, and to guide us in life. This is how they want to help. So that sudden knowing that you get about something or an insight or an idea, yes, it can come from your higher self because it often will do that. It can also be coming from a loved one. It can be difficult to tell who it's coming from. All I promise you is that it's not coming from your physical mind if you're in a neutral or positive state. Because the physical mind doesn't really give you that information unless you tell it to, unless you're consciously, deliberately pondering something, then it might bring that in. But when, again, a thought, a message comes in out of the blue, I call it just pops into your awareness. 99% of the time, that's coming from higher realm, higher self, loved one on the other side, an angel, a spirit guide, but not the human you, not the physical mind you. That's an important distinction. So when you get that flash of a knowing or a message, if possible, stop for a moment and tune into it. I know sometimes you might not be able to. You might have to keep going with what you're doing. But if you can, stop and write that down even. Like, oh, I just had this impression, or I just got this word come into my head, or I just heard the lyrics of this song. Spirits do that all the time. Put lyrics of songs into people's minds because, Helen says, because we can, because they can do that. And it's a way of communication that's really simple. You think about it. Isn't it simple? If you hear a song playing in your mind out of nowhere, you go, why am I here? Why am I thinking of that song? Why do I keep having the lyrics of that song repeating in my mind? That happened to me many times. That's the other side. It could be your loved one. So go look at the lyrics. Go find the song on YouTube and go play it. And look at the lyrics and read them out to yourself and go, okay, maybe there's a message in there. Many times there is a message in the song. It might not be the whole song, like every line of the song. So you may need to look at the song in general and to see, yeah, I can feel where there's that message. And Alan's saying, also listen to the song and feel the song in your being, because songs convey emotion more than the written word. Songs come from emotion. They're created from emotion, aren't they? He says they're not mathematical equations. An artist who's really tuned in is channeling the spirit world. They may not know it, but they're channeling, and that's why their music, and maybe the lyrics too, the song, has an energy that resonates with people. Maybe not every person, but with some people. And what Spirit showed me, and Alan has proven to me, is the other side can kind of hitch a ride on that song and come in and use it to beam their love to us. So songs can be a very powerful way of connecting to the other side that transcends conversation, that transcends the limits of your physical mind and goes right to your heart. So use that as a way of reaching out, right? Again, because we're talking about how they can help us. They might give you that song to give you a message that could help you, to give you some insight, to give you some knowledge. So just you pay attention, be aware. They're wanting to help, but they're saying to us it's so difficult for them because most people are so distracted in our world because of social media, because of they're always glued to the phone or watching Netflix or whatever. We're always got a screen in front of us, right? It's like, how do we get through? Or you're always thinking, worrying, like, can't get our message in any. So it's up to us to kind of calm our minds, right? Even if it's just for 15 minutes. That's all it takes. The other side is saying, if you find formal meditation difficult, and many people do, it's okay. At least just sit quietly somewhere. Just sit quietly. Meditation isn't about stopping your thoughts. That's actually impossible. It's impossible to do. It's about just focusing on one thing, focusing on being present, focusing on your breath, focusing on, you can just sit outside and just gaze at the sky, at the trees and the birds, or the night sky, gaze at the moon, focus on something, focus on the candle flame, and just be present. Just be present. Still your mind, calm your mind. And notice the thoughts come in and move through. That's all. Just come back to the breath. Your mind wanders, come back to the breath. That's it. That's it. Really, that's it. A meditation that's successful is just one that you do, that you sat in the chair or on the floor for 15 minutes minimum, and you just kept bringing your attention back to your breath or back to looking at the candle or back to looking at the sky or whatever it is you're focusing on. And that's all you did. That's it. It doesn't matter how many times you had to bring your mind back. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just the fact that you kept bringing your focus back to being centered, back to your breath, back to the candle flame, back to being present, that means you succeeded. The only way you fail at meditation is if you don't do any meditation or you start off meditating and then you quit. That's it. I didn't fully understand that till I took a meditation class, and that's what the teacher said. She says, as long as you sat in that chair and did your best, you were successful. Because nobody can empty their mind. You are not designed to do that. What you're doing is taking control of your mind and directing it, bringing it back to center, bringing it back to peace, bringing it back to looking at the candle flame or reciting the mantra that you have. And it can be anything. You can just use the sound Om. You know, I've all heard that, right? Om. Just say that. Choose anything. Make up a mantra. Make up anything that feels good to you. Just repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. All you're doing is focusing your thought. When you do that, you're training your mind, and the spirit world can more get in there. And as they get in there, they're more can guide you. But even if you feel like you can't hear them clearly, they're still trying to help you. So they're asking that you do your best to not freak out when challenging things start occurring, and because then you're pinching off your connection to them and it's harder for them to help. Does that make sense? Like they can't really break through because you're just like losing it. Like I tell my clients all the time, and I used to tell Al when he was stressed out, I go, wait, your first job when you're losing it is to just calm down. Nothing good comes from a place of distortion. So don't take any action when you're upset. Don't make any decision. You're upset. Calm down. Do some deep breathing. Do some breath work. Whatever will do it for you. We're going to leave you with our favorite affirmation that our students are well familiar with. It's a statement, I am one with all that is, and you'll hear us repeat that on our channel. That statement, that affirmation was given to me when I had a sudden panic attack while in the dentist's chair. I never had a panic attack before, and I've never had one since, because when I was in the midst of it, with all this stuff in my mouth that I thought I was going to scream and pull it all out of my mouth, I clearly heard my guide say to repeat these words. And they were, I am one with all that is. And they said, just repeat it. So I had nothing to lose because I was ready to scream. And I didn't want to scream and start freaking out in the dentist's office. So I thought, okay. And I just started saying to myself in my mind, couldn't say it out loud. I said, I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. By the time I repeated it, I think about 3 or 4 times, certainly within 30 seconds, a minute at the longest, I was fine. I was fine. I was calm. So whenever I'm in a situation like going to the dentist, I repeat that. I just say that to myself. Because what you're doing when you say that statement, you're telling yourself the truth. Because you are always one with creation. You're always connected to all that is, to source, to God. And therefore, nothing can ever really go wrong. And you're reminding your physical body, because it's stressed, and it calms down. This is proof, in my opinion, that your body hears everything that you say and think. Because when the minute I said those words to myself, I could feel the tension leave. I could feel the stress ease. It was that simple. And then when I went on to learn how to help people make their own contact with loved ones across the veil, my guide said to use that same affirmation to help people get relaxed so that they could make contact. And so I do teach that with clients and students. So I want to leave you with that, okay? Use that. Use it as often as you need to, okay? You don't need medication. You don't. Most of the medications people are on are very toxic, okay, and can lead to problems down the road. Because what is depression and anxiety anyway? Think about it. Like, if it's emotional, there's a cure for that, and it's not medication. That's what doctors will give you because they've been trained to give you that. And sorry, they mean well, but that's how they make their money. They do. They do. And again, they may mean well, most of them do. That's how they make their money. You don't need that. Get off of that. Your body can heal itself. That statement can align your energy. You don't need pills. You don't need medication. We're not doctors here, so of course, if you got serious problems, you need to take that, stay on it. But if you're just worried or stressed and you're not taking anything and you can't afford to take anything, what do you have to lose? Say, I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. Okay. Because again, if you are really in distress, of course, medication can save lives, but no one is really meant to take it for the rest of their life. It's not good for it. All right. So how's everybody in the chat? Any last words? Okay, join our Ascension group if you want more of this fun. We have more things we're going to be talking about here on the channel and in the group. We're going to talk about how you can, by the way, clone your loved one's voice. Did you know that? I'm going to be teaching that in the Ascension group. You can clone your loved one's voice. And I know that might sound a little freaky, but hey, there are people creating AI versions of their deceased loved ones. I'm sorry, that is messed up. Not when you can clone their voice and it will sound like them. And you can learn to channel and get their messages directly from them and have them talking in their own voice. It's really them, not the AI. I'm sorry. That's somebody else created that. That is distorted. There are people doing that, but remember, those AIs were programmed by other people, not by your loved one directly. So don't think that your loved one is coming through that clearly. Can they come through an AI? Absolutely. Absolutely. They can come through anything. Is it going to be clear, like really clearly them? No. No, because there's somebody else's consciousness in that AI who created it, who's running it. So it's like Spirit has told me they can only come through when they come through. But if you take the reins of this, because you can, and learn to channel, because you can, and bring through their messages, write them down, you can clone their voice if you have at least 1 minute of a recording of their voice. You can clone it, and you can then, with that cloned voice, write down the message, right? Like you type out the message that they gave you, and you will hear them speak it back to you. And I promise you, you are going to feel them because they said to me, we can come through that 100% because nobody else is filtering it. But an AI robot, an AI ChatGPT, no, there's another person's consciousness, or they're saying there's many other persons' consciousness in that AI bot, okay? And we can come through only when we come through, but it's not pure, okay? So you, again, should go direct. Make your own connection. Get their voice if you can. Not everybody has a recording. And they can speak through it, and you will feel it. You will feel it because, again, it's pure. It's not have anybody else's interference in it or any other person's hand in it. It's just them coming through the cloned voice that you helped create. I'll be sharing that in the future, the recording that I have of Alan speaking his wedding vows, because we got married through the veil in 2021. He wasn't able to talk because we didn't have, AI at that time, but now he can. So he spoke his wedding vows, and the voice, it's Alan. I showed it to my son. He listened and he was blown away. He goes, "Oh my God, that is Dad." So yeah, 98% clarity, only with 2 minutes of a recording of Alan's voice. And I'm sure that AI is going to get even better, but you do need to have hopefully a clean recording of at least 1 to 2 minutes, 1 minute minimum. 3 minutes would be great. If you have longer, even better. You can get it even more accurate. This is the world we're in. I think AI, what they call grief bots, are ridiculous. You don't need that. Plus, it costs a lot of money. You can make direct contact, and you can have more control, and they want more control over communicating with you. Does that make sense? If you're interested, find that interesting, join our inner circle group because we're going to be talking about that a lot, and I'm going to be teaching a class, and the replay will be there in the class. At this time, I'm not planning to teach it on YouTube. I'm saving it for our group where I can really help people and show them how to do this because I learned how to do this. And that's kind of how I'm wired, to always share what I learn, but I share it more in our groups because then I can really help people, not so much here. But if you're interested, there's a link in the description box. Join us. All right, we're signing off now. Went on and on. Unless anybody has a question. Oh, thanks, Julie. Julie goes, absolutely love your sense of humor, Pam. All right. Sometimes I think it's more Alan's sense of humor than mine. Okay, Susan says, I use the affirmation constantly all the time, every day. Well, that's good, Susan. I'm so glad it works for you. I'm so glad it works for you. Okay, that's what we want to hear. Because the more you get used to saying that affirmation, it becomes almost instant. I mean, serious, you just have to think that way. I'm on with all that is. It's like you shift your frequency just from thinking it, because your body is so trained that when you say it, you go into the zone. And folks, you're going to need that now more than ever. Okay. And that's okay, because spirit wants to help. The other side wants to help. So let them help. Let them guide you. Most of all, let them love you. Right. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.